Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the latest RAFFA podcast in the middle of a bank holiday weekend. Another day of good weather, another day of mowing lawns and doing the DIY. We have ordinarily been neglected that and in favour of a weekend of watching football and a few beers. So joining me this week, so it's all backroom staff on the podcast this week. So firstly, starting with the top of the tree, our ambassador, Mr. Jeff Hancox.
Thanks, Jess.
And joining Jeff is someone who spent their RAF career trying to dress up as a tree, head therapist Gus Payne.
Dressing up as a tree.
Come on,
you guys love the GDP. You guys love the GDP.
I try to avoid it at all costs, mate. That doesn't surprise you, I'm sure.
Well, dressing up as a tree, you lot dress up with trees now, don't you? I haven't seen you RAF people in RAF blues for bloody years.
How are we doing? Jeff, how's Norfolk?
Beautiful Norfolk is great, thank you very much. Yeah, a bit windy today, a bit windy yesterday, but yeah, it's good and nice and quiet as well. I went down to the boat at the weekend and unbelievably quiet the road. 'Cause normally you can't move on the A11 with the roundabouts, but very, very quiet. So people are heeding the advice and staying at home, which is great.
And Gus, you're a bit more in the mixer, aren't you? Just on the outskirts of London. So you've been pretty busy, haven't you?
Yeah, sunny Uxbridge up there. Everybody's gone down to see Jeff down by the seaside and things like that. So we've done our social distancing, mate. Yeah. Yeah, very, very busy, mate. Very busy.
So, well, let me just kick off, mate, because on behalf of all of us, we know what you've been doing. So you've been on the front line, NHS with the ambulances, mate. So, you know, a big kind of thank you from us. Cheers, buddy. Been doing a great job.
Yeah, massive respect. Thank you.
Absolutely, mate.
Been a pleasure, mate. Been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it. Totally.
And now you got a bit of downtime, mate. You can get your hair cut, can't you?
No, apparently they're closed until July, so I'm going to do my own bit for the company, grow it, yeah, and get Rooney to start gelling my hair when we get back to normal.
Fantastic. Okay, guys, so let's get stuck in. So obviously this is about football. It's the RAF Vets Football Podcast. So have you been missing football at all, or have you been enjoying the break?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, sorry, I didn't want to jump in there, Gus. Yeah, I've missed the football, but I haven't missed the Premier League, if that makes sense. I've missed probably more grassroots level football, you know, like the vets out when we have our meetings. I certainly missed that. I've missed the Formula One more than I think I've missed the Premier League. But the Champions League and everything else, I love that. But the Premier League, I'm going off it a bit.
Gus, you can't like the Premier League, not in the Villa's position.
Oh, come on, don't start me off, mate. Yeah, as you know, the FA and the EFL, they're my employers. So when they actually sort of stopped all the sort of football, that was me sort of knackered, both in the teaching, pitch medics and everything. Hence why I went on the ambulances. As I said, totally sort of love that thing. All right, doing all the old COVID stuff, positives and happily negatives, okay, and the normal sort of peacetime there. Yeah, my bread and butter, but no football, no work for me, basically. That's the only reason, to be truthful, I went back on the ambulances, full-time, 12 on, 12 off.
So, obviously there's like a project restart at the moment. You know, there's challenges everywhere. What's your thoughts about it coming back? Gus, can you see it?
Being in the position I am, Robo, I get to talk to quite a few people, especially sort of players, and I've got to tend to agree with them in a way. They don't want to go back to work and train with somebody and work with somebody that's possibly got it and take it back to their, as I said, sort of family on that. So I'm a bit with the sort of players at the moment. The media are pushing them into it over the money. Will they have it? Well, we find out on Wednesday on that sort of meeting. I'm going from that one. But should it be scrapped? well, being a Villa fan, yeah, that's got to be scrapped, doesn't it?
Well, null and
It does
void.
me both ways. Does me both ways. That does.
In
Villa
fact,
stay up, and Liverpool don't get a cup for another year.
That would keep everybody in this call happy, wouldn't it, Jeff? As you'd like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it poses more questions than answers. Certainly at the moment, if you talk about going back, a classic one would be Robo, for instance. We all spit on a football pitch, So it's done all the time. So somebody puts their hand on that, comes back, for instance, happens to rub it over the face or whatever. You just don't know. So there's so many sort of unknowns at the moment with regards to this COVID issue. So on the professional side of it, football's designed, isn't it? Professional football's designed to have the audience, and by not having that audience there and playing, behind closed doors, I think it would be an awful lack of atmosphere. And so, yeah, I'm more than happy to have the sort of Premier League and the English Football League abandoned. I'd be happy with that.
I've been working right the way through this, and I've dealing with people, and I've kind of got a little bit of a different opinion on it. I absolutely accept if somebody doesn't feel it's safe to go back to work, but there is no other industry that is working and has worked all the way through, and Gus will bear this out, that's had the amount of testing and finance available to do testing as football has. So they are being tested so regularly. The environment they're working in is so clinically clean that there is no chance, or very, very slim chance, of them actually contracting it. So I'd like to see them actually press the button to test whether they want to go back and work, and say, right, that's fine. You don't have to come back to work, but if you don't come back to work, we're going to furlough you. So you will be on $2,500 a week. $2,500 a month, and see how much their resolve kind of sticks then. And if they do say, yeah, that's fine, I accept, there's consequences. I don't want to come back to work because it's not safe. Then I'd have a little bit more sympathy for them.
Yeah, but on that way though, Robo, it's the clubs are getting it through. They're going to the meetings down at the FA, down at Wembley, down at Soho, but there's no feedback going into the players. The players being getting told, you get it, you're off. Yeah. They get tested, as you correctly said, sort of 2 or 3 times a sort of week, every time they go into sort of training. They got a bit of a temperature. They go home. But a lot of them are scared of going home now because they've got children and they don't want to take it home. So the players are not getting the information. A lot of it's just coming from the media, to tell you the truth, and that's what they're believing. I would turn around and say 99% of the players would actually go back if they knew the actual sort of correct information, if that makes sense.
The only ones that I'd probably do... Sorry, Jeff. No, you go, Jeff.
Yeah, I think if you look at, for instance, the Bundesliga, and the Bundesliga have started again now, but the issue there is that there's so many players, in addition of caught COVID again, isn't there? So it's not as if it's going away anywhere, certainly within that particular environment. So, and until such times as they can answer those questions, and you've rightly identified that, the amount of money that the clubs have available to them, which allows them to do the testing, to pay for these tests as well, is that they've got 1 or 2 options now. They can either put up or shut up. End of story, really.
Bundesliga are the... well, everybody's watching that to see what hell's going on. I've just been watching a game on TV earlier. Sort of people like sort of me were going on there.
It's not right, Gus, is it? It doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right.
I don't know. There's a lot of robos there, cardboard cutouts, mate. So
that mobile, eh?
we go on the pitch. You got to wear the gloves, which we normally wear anyway. But now they're including masks. And I'll get like me running on there with a mask. I've got to send PD or Ant or Jed or even Jack on now these days.
Jack's glasses are steam up. He can't go on.
Oh no, they've got something to do that.
So obviously, you know, that's the top level that we're talking about. You know, that filters down a lot. Obviously, like Div 2 look as though they're scrapping, which is understandable. So if you bring that down to kind of us and any grassroots, you know, what do you think about us starting again? You know, that seems a long way off to me. Jeff?
Yeah, to be very honest with you, I think grassroots football for this season now is finished. I mean, I think the FA have already said that, you know, with regards to the leagues. The only thing that I would desperately love to, one fixture I would desperately love to have before, you know, that would be to finish the inter-services and get the Navy fixture out of the way. And that's purely on a selfish reason to be inter-service champions again. But I think from a grassroots perspective, it's done. I mean, I don't think we'll see anything now until possibly September, October time.
I think that's probably ambitious. That early is probably ambitious.
Yeah,
I agree with what you say there, Jeff. Totally. But we are looking here, sort of grassroots football, you know, non-league football, our football. I can't see that coming back to tell you the honest truth, this year. You know, possibly November, December, or possibly with the IS. You know, because you can do that behind the closed doors. That's a good bones about the military thing. But grassroots, non-league football, I can't see that starting again this year, to tell you the truth.
It'd be interesting to see when it does start up, because I've listened to quite a few people. You know, the way particularly in like the lower professional ranks, the way the money will change. So it'll end up with people coming like into non-league, so they're able to have like jobs and make up their money with, you know, with kind of, you know, like their job and football money. So I think there'll be a massive change in kind of, you know, non-league football. It'll be interesting to see. I think there's big changes, you know, kind of. I thought, right, okay, right. Let's get stuck in. I just need to get dressed up. Only got myself a blazer, haven't I?
no.
Hey.
Are you liking that? Hey?
Who did you rob it? Who did you rob it off?
Got it off eBay. Are you liking that or what?
I can't see the bags though from here.
Oh, hang on a minute. There's something in the pocket. What does that say? Crusoe Barry, Jeffers. Oh, hang on a minute. What's this in here? What's all this? Surely not.
I thought that was going to come later, actually, but there we go.
I was getting a bit hot, Jeffers. I had to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. So, back at the top of the tree, Mr. Ambassador, Jeff Hancox. What is Mr. Ambassador and what's involved with that, mate? Tell us a little bit about it. Well,
to be very honest, I think the ambassador word came from us when we used to go on tour. And what happened was, you know what it's like when you go on tour, you always get really, really bad accommodation. So the joke was, I'm in the ambassador suite. So it was always the ambassador suite whenever we went anywhere. And then lo and behold, that sort of carried across. And then when I got involved with the vets, there was this ambassador role sort of created, which I think was fantastic. And I was very honoured to be put forward, you know, to sort of fulfil that particular role. So yeah, what it entails working directly with the RAF Board of Trustees, representing the RAF veterans, because probably what a lot of people don't know now is the fact that the RAF veterans are the fourth official registered team within the RAFFA. So that's a fantastic accolade in itself, given the short time that we've been going. And what that does for the vets is it allows me to go to the Board of Trustees as a non-voting member, but to be able to put our case forward to them. So that's really what the ambassador role is. That's on the official side, and on the veteran side, you know, as you know, I do the post-match stuff with the president. If the president's not there, then I'll step in and do the after-match speeches, if I can get the names right, of course, and rank.
It's only rank.
Yeah, it's only rank. And then, you know, obviously all of the other little side shows, you know, supporting, looking after sponsors and everything else like that, really. So yeah, I love it. It's a lovely, it's a great position.
So what you're saying, you're the face of the vet, so it's just the photogenic. You're just photogenic, and you like kind of heading that up, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, they had to have somebody, you know, and of course, what better person, really?
Totally agree.
All right, Gus.
But if we went on disciplinary records, then obviously I'd never have got the job.
Well, I have been looking at some photographs of your elbows flying today. So Gus, obviously you head up a team of therapists. You're the head man. So kind of, what does your role involve, mate?
What's my role involved? Well, you reckon Gilly went on? I could go on all day here.
I'll let it
Well, first of all, my job starts. Well, we've got to try it. My job starts as soon as the game sort of finishes. You know, we go back, we get a lot of sort of players phoning up, emailing, texting. You know, I've got this, I've got this, I've got that. All right. And I'm in a good position to sort of give them, how can I say, advice, okay, between the last game and the actual sort of next game coming on. I'm a little bit sort of held when we come to RAF players because I'm restricted in that one. But, yeah, I've got a brilliant contact there in young Macca. I've used Macca loads of times, okay, phoning him up, okay, reference the RAF guys with sort of injuries. I've got a lot of contacts in different parts of the sort of country. But, you know, when it comes to the RAF guys, you know, to tell you the truth, I'd be lost without young Macca. You know, he does me great sort of favours, gives me advice, all right, and actually sort of sees the sort of players before the next sort of game on that one. So as soon as our game's finished, my job doesn't stop. It just carries on. Prior to the next sort of game, as you know, I sort of put the email sort of out, any knocks, you know, bumps, sort of bruises. So me and the staff, PD, Ant, Jed, Jack, can actually sort of prep for it. On the day itself, again, you guys sort of know, I sort of get there sort of first with you guys, set up the medical facility, set the pitch bag up, set the green bag up, and see what we've got, and sort of take it from sort of there. All right, players start coming up, put my other hat on, and go into the agony aunt bit, you know, especially with the old sort of night before us.
We'll come into that, Gus. We'll come into that.
All right, that's when I put my agony head on, got this and that. But I said, brief the lads, you know, reference the old sort of rubs, tapes, injuries, sort of what we've got to sort of go to, let them know what they're going to do. And quite recently, in the last sort of 2 or 3 games, you know, I've actually sort of gone into a bit of training with the medical lads, you know, sort of, you know, if we get the sort of time, you know, we can actually sort of go into it. So I'll keep with that one. All right. And as soon as all that's finished, that's it. It's, I get changed while you lot go for a photo, and game starts. You know what I do in the game, as lit as possibly. I try to send out the lads first, yeah, to give them a sort of run out. And then after the game, goes back into the welfare of the actual players, accident reports, yeah, and then it starts all over again. So
two things stand out for me there, mate. The fact that you're contactable in between games, you know, that there'll be a lot of players that won't have experienced that. That's like being with a club, a proper club, having access to that kind of knowledge. But also the fact that you're developing, you know, PD, Jack, Jed, you know, Tony, you know, their training, you know, it's fantastic to have someone like that in our group. kind of, that's what you bring to me.
It is fantastic to have those guys as well. PD sort of specialist in his sort of role. Ant's just starting off. I've talked to sort of Wilkie, and he's got us on sort of courses, things like that. Personally, I'm not sort of shooting my mouth off. Okay, I don't sort of need them, but I'll go with the guys. That way I can learn what they do. And it's not only me putting my stuff across. I learn a lot of those guys as well. So it works both ways in that way, mate.
Yeah, I think as well that it can't be underestimated, really, the value of having, that physio team. And I think that word team is very important because, that team works so well together. They're very, very, hands-on, very functional as well. And of course, not being funny, we all know that when it comes to one of those double-header weekends, and for instance, we might have had a slightly depleted squad, and all of a sudden, Gus's magic hands and Jed and Tony and PD and everybody else are working miracles to get a side out again for the Sunday.
Yeah.
And the guys go out and perform. So I think that the contribution to the vet squad cannot be understated at all.
Absolutely, mate. Agree. So how did you get involved with the vets, Gus?
You want the real story or the waffle one?
Let's not let truth get in the way of a good story.
Well, basically, I love Cyprus. Yeah, I've done 2 tours over that one. And, my and Jimmy's relationship. I've seen one sort of Facebook sort of entry saying he's just got back from Akatiri. He's been on the piss, on the Keo. And a football tournament was in there, something like that. And I got a bit jealous, actually. So I did ask him, do you want a medic? All right. He says, well, I'm not really the sort of boss. So he put me on to sort of Matt Beattie. And I thought, that's not Matt Beattie from Uxbridge. He used to play for the RAFFA. He said, yes, in fact, give me his email. Sorry, I swore there. Edit that one out, mate. Yeah. So that was it. So I got in touch with Matt. Matt turns around and said, yeah, please come along. My first game was at Cosford against, I can't remember, it's Sutton Coldfield or Shifnal. They all...
Shifnal. I remember. Shifnal.
They all met in the calf, and I'm sort of sat there, Matt turns around and says, oh, do you know these guys? I went, no. Just me and Jimmy sat in the corner and they're going, who is this guy here? But yeah, got into it. Loved it. Looked at the old sort of facilities that Cosford had, and I thought,
don't want to go there again. So were you ever a player, Gus? Did you ever play?
Yes, I did. My playing career started in the year of the old sort of black and white TV, mate. Half of these players, they weren't born when I sort of started. And, going back, a lot of people know. Me and Jeff was actually born in the same sort of village. Brought up. We didn't go to school together because he went to a school.
2 idiots in the same village. Is that can't?
That's a bit harsh.
Well, as you said before, we'll come on to that one later.
Oh.
Yeah, but Jeff, he'd only live around the corner from me, literally about 200 yards, Jeff, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to Dormer, which was a Roman Catholic school. He went to Southern-Mire, which was about 100 metres from his house, lazy git.
And I'm still late.
And, yeah, can't argue that. Obviously, schools play against each other. I can't remember the position you played in, Jeff. All right, but I used to play up front, mate. Bagged a couple of goals. I don't know if it's against you or, you was in the midfield or up front that time.
I was playing up front then.
Yeah, I thought you were, but, my picture in my head is the little matchstick with the blonde hair.
Oh.
Oh, no, yeah, I ain't finished yet.
No.
I'm not finished yet. But the haircut looks like his mum had stuck a bowl over his head and sort of cut around it, Now, I'd have to say that quietly. Whoa. All right. But, I'm sure he bagged a couple against us. But, in our career down in Southam, I've always played against Jeff. Never with him.
That's no bad thing. That's no bad thing.
Well, unless you can correct me on this one, Jeff. Remember old Donald's farm?
Yes.
Yeah,
do.
Southam under 16. He started. Yeah, we started
Yeah.
playing on the actually in the farm on a farmer's field. You know,
Yeah.
getting changed in the barn
Yeah.
and playing. Um, he used to coach us and teach us and manage us in a pair of welly boots with it, and
And he used to cart us around in the back of his long wheelbase Land Rover.
That's it.
And there'd be about 14 kids hanging out the back of this long wheel Land Rover, going off to play in these competitions around Warwickshire, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's what we've done. We've done that for a season, and then he put in for the old rec. You know, we got the pitch down at the rec, and we actually got a changing room with concrete around it. It was amazing. I only done that for a season. All right, I sort of then carried on and went to Leamington. I think you went to Southam, didn't you, Jeff? Okay, obviously you're going to do this in a minute. Yeah, but I went to Leamington. Got a little bored with the old sort of chef job I was doing at Warwick Castle and joined up. Represented every sort of station, all right, that I actually sort of got posted sort of to. I think my highlight was going to Cyprus when I represented RAF Cyprus. It used to be in that time. Again, the players that you sort of know, Kelly Obstinate, Stu Hodson, sort of Zippy Kennedy, things like that. We could never get picked for the RAF squads because regiment were always operational.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't sort of let us off. You know, we're the only people that really had to put a Gen app in to sort of play football, if you remember in those days, Jeff. All right. But, left all that. All right. Hereford, played for Hereford United. All right, for a season sort of down there. Yedding when I was down at sort of Uxbridge. I've had a bit of a sort of playing career.
Blimey. There you go, mate. What about you, Jeff? You keep yours briefer. It was like listening to Gilly then. Gus going on for like an hour about his career. Jeez.
Well, okay. I played for Southam United as a kid, you know, before I joined the Air Force. And when I joined the RAF in 1977, I think it was a year after Gus. I think Gus joined in 76.
75, I joined.
75, there you go. Yeah, two years afterwards. And then I started playing station football, which I loved. You know, it was great. And I was stuck over across in Grimsby at the time. And trust me, some of the parks down in Grimsby were horrific. But that's another story. So then I then managed to get into the group team, you know, sort of 11 group, and then I got into the strike setup. And then I was posted across to Germany in 1980. And then that was the first time I'd played for RAF Germany, which was a fantastic environment. It was the same thing throughout the whole of Germany anyway. It's work hard, play hard. There was no different within the football scene either. So I was out in Germany. That's where I met Sally, and obviously I was posted back. And as soon as I got posted back, I was actually selected to play for the combined services before I was selected to play for the Air Force. That didn't go down too well with the manager at the time, Jimmy Miller. But as it was, I played for the combined services before I played for the RAF. That was in '83, so that was the first time I came back. And then from '83 through to November 1995, I played for the Air Force, on and off in between suspensions, bans, walkouts, teddy bears out the cot, etc., etc. So, and then I went into the backroom setup. So, but on the semi-pro scene, I was with Gloucester City, Cambridge City, Barry Town, very briefly. Thank you, Robo, for reminding me.
Sorry, mate. I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. I also played semi-pro in Germany and Holland as well. Played for the England FA 11 Select 3 times. Captained them twice. Had a really, really great career and thoroughly enjoyed it. But you're a long time retired, and obviously, Robo, you've just thrown your hand in now and sort of said, right, I'm finished now. The one thing I would say to anybody is that, you know, when they talk about retirement, there's only one person that knows when it's time, and that's you. But you are a long time retired.
I agree completely, mate. I made the choice. I was a little bit concerned. I had a back injury, and there's other things that I need to do, and football is no longer as important. So as you say, you know, it's completely an individual choice, and it's
certainly for me, I didn't have much choice in it because of what happened with my back injury. That
yeah.
it was instantaneous, so it was a no-brainer. So yeah, but going back to the football thing, you know, I wasn't a good footballer. I was a good defender, and there's a big difference for people who understand football. You know, if you asked me to pass a ball 10 yards, I'd probably put it out for a throw. But if you wanted somebody to, you know, get in front of a ball and block or get in where it hurts, that's what defenders do. So.
No,
sorry, Roger.
No, go on, mate. You go.
Yeah, but going back on that football thing, Jeff, as I said, we come from the same sort of village, and I've played against you sort of quite a few times. But yeah, I was down at Uxbridge for about sort of 11 years, sort of on and off, so MOD. So I've seen the likes of you, Robo, Matty, sort of coming up to the sort of place. I won't mention the partying sort of thing, but you know, now and again football. And yeah, Jeff, everybody looked up to you, mate. You are a sort of figure within RAF sort of football, and you know, going back to the sort of Southern sort of days again. You know, your dad said you was in the RAF regiment. You know, I was going back on leave, and I said, "What squadron is he on?" He said, "What's the squadron?" Was it, you know, your old man, like, you know, he's a guy, like, you know, right, fantastic footballer as well. I just remember his bandy legs. Remember them?
He was, yeah. It's sort of big in an alley.
Yeah. All right. But every time I went back, like, you know, I made a point around and said, "Where is Jeff? What squadron is he on?" And all he kept on saying was RAF regiment, RAF regiment. You know, and at the time he was on the Northern Ireland sort of rulement, and we got to see all the regiment squadrons, and I was asking, "Where's Jeff Hancock? Where's Jeff Hancock?" Nobody knew him. All right. It weren't until about sort of 5 or 6 years sort of later we found out he was a fireman, RAF regiment. Yeah.
I see Japan.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Well, I went down a bowling green, like, and I was seeing this old man, and I thought I'd put him right on a few things on that day.
I tell you, I used to have some real banter with Davy Dodds and Timmy Marsden and that, because they were all the parachute training guys from PTS. And then, of course, you'd have Jimmy Barron and myself, who were, as we were deemed, chip hand technicians. And then, so any trade, you know, depending on what you were, would get slaughtered. So, I mean, obviously, RAF regiment would get slaughtered, firemen would get slaughtered, PTIs were getting slaughtered, quite rightly. So, yeah, great banter.
It was. I'm just glad I got the SP, like, you know, 10 years on thinking you're a rock ape, and then all of a sudden you're a bloody water rat.
So, Jeff, just going back to your career then. So, last week or a couple of weeks ago, we had some of the coaches on who picked their, RAF 11 through their opinion, selected to wear the armband through that. So that must have been, you know, quite an honour for them to be picked by your peers to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm very surprised as well. The reason I say that is when you had the likes of Mark Mallinson, Al Pluckrose, and probably a little bit before them, the likes of Davy Dodds as well, even down to Gaz Watton as well. You know, some very good players in there as well, very good players. And so yeah, I was quite flattered when I was selected in the squad, but B, when I was selected to be, you know, that skipper. So yeah, very honoured and very flattered.
No, it's good. It was a really interesting. Apart from Gilly rattling on for 4 hours, you know, it was kind of.
That was just about himself.
It must have been hard to resist the temptation to give yourself a shirt in that. It was good. Boys showed good discipline. It was good fun, actually, to do that one. It was good fun. Right, Gus. So, need some home truths from you. So PD did this one for me a few weeks ago. So we need the same from you, okay? So every week, we all like trot into the dressing room. So who comes on your physio bed? Who do you see? Who's the thoroughbred racehorse? Who's the thoroughbred racehorse in the RAF?
Well, there's two people on straight away. You know, one is you. Yeah.
No, I said who is the thoroughbred racehorse?
Rephrase that question a little bit there, okay? You turned around and said who's first on the bed. You said
No, I did not. You obviously the connection into Uxbridge is dodgy. I said who is the thoroughbred racehorse that gets on your bed?
Sorry, I do apologise, young man. Yeah.
Hard of understanding. I told you it'd be difficult with a rock on this, didn't I?
Oh, I nearly did it again and swore again there.
Yeah.
Race courses, okay, going down there. You're talking what? Skip Scotty, Macca. Yeah.
The skipper.
Skips, yeah.
He's got